Hello? No more technical difficulties. No more technical difficulties. Alright. Not sure what happened. But I sure as hell didn't like loading. Sorry, VODs, if you're confused about the context. This is what happens when you don't watch me live. This is what happens. This is what happens. Hopefully no more technical difficulties happen. We did walks last time. Now there's these other two step one moments. Okay, let us play. We're doing the wheels. Play the wheels one. Wheels. Taking a bit. Should I do cam? I think I should do cam. See cam? You see cam? Okay, cool. I'll have to set things up. What the hell? Why are you not responding? Game? Our life. There we go. Is this in? Oh, that's fine. Continue. Alright. Let me blow my nose. Real quick. Still have a dry throat. It was another cloudy Saturday in Golden Grove when three kids reconvened in the middle of their cul-de-sac. The moment had come to fulfill the promise you made to go riding around the park together. Baxter and Darren were gonna meet you part way there again. Chu said so as he... Shut up. Hold on, I have an idea. Oh, hello, April. Why are you looking at me, April? I have a dog over there. You're looking at me. What is it? You wonder what I'm doing? Baxter and Darren were gonna meet you partway there. Alright, read that. And this time you told your mommy before leaving the house that you were going out of the neighborhood. She said to have fun and thanked you for keeping her up to date on your busy schedule again. Chu narrowed his eyes, intensified the spark inside them like a magnifying glass directing a laser beam of sunlight. Oh. God damn it. The bridge in the forest was almost amazing to Tamarack, but this was Chu's special idea. Let's go get our bikes. Maybe I shouldn't do the voices. I don't know. Hit out a little bit more. With a much softer humor. And a scooter. The three of you split off to your own houses along the curve of the cul-de-sac, each kid appearing around a corner or through the front house. You got your bike and made it to the meeting spot without any problems. Tamarack and Chu weren't there. You were gonna have to wait. On. Standing there with a hand on the handlebar and nothing else to do, you glanced over your ride. Press space. There we go. Um, that was good enough. Your bike would get you where you needed to go. That was good enough. For the helmet, Mommy had gotten you completely normal shaped one. It was plainly colored. It was only a few minutes until the three of you were together on the road again, each with your wheels of choice. Chu rolled forward to be right between you and Tamarack, and to be the very center of attention. His bike was his pride and joy. He bragged about it basically as soon as you knew him. And the day had come where he was able to show it off. It was sorry, the snare scared me. The music. It was as exactly as Chu always described. Black with silver splatters. The bike was polished to a reflective gleam. Sorry, the snares distracted me. Very snappy. Not too snappy, but you get it. The bike was polished to a reflective gleam. That made the nicks and scratches it did have stand out. He'd used his wheels a lot, even though he'd taken care of it. Let me put it for you loud, but for me not. Chu launched into a dramatic spiel on the qualities of the bikes, listing off one feature after the other. His ride had great treads, and a lot of different gears and amazing suspension. Was he trying to ride it or sell it? You snickered because you couldn't tell it wasn't just talk. It did look bigger and sturdier than a typical kid's style you could get at any store. The helmet under Chu's arm was unique too. It was for serious dirt biking, with a face cover and everything. When Chu's explanation eventually ended, Tamarack chimed in to give her ride an introduction on its own. Hers was a whole lot shorter. Mine's really pretty, huh? She drummed her fingers against the handlebars. Chu's bike was so incredible it must have been forged from the animal's most powerful materials. Meanwhile, Tamarack's scooter looked like it came from Candyland. The main part was pastel pink with purple, squishy handles, and purple not squishy wheels. There was even a hint of dullness, or one scuff anywhere. It would have looked brand new, except it was covered in tons of stickers. From top to bottom, rainbows, cutesy animals, and sparkly holographic hearts were pasted next to the school fire and danger signs that might have glowed in the dark. I had a hard time thinking she protected her scooter more than Chu cherished his bike. It was possible covering it in stickers was the only thing she had ever used it for. Tamarack's helmet didn't have stickers. Maybe she decided it was cool enough already. The extra round shape had stripes of different colors, and, oh yeah, huge rows of spikes. If you counted those, she might have been as tall as Chu for once. And thinking of Chu, he shivered at Tamarack's decked out scooter. We don't like it. He tried to talk in a normal voice. It would be very polite. It wouldn't be very polite to voice how horrified he obviously was, but Chew couldn't hide it. You're never gonna be able to scrape that off. I don't want to lose the stickers. They make it better. But they're gonna get old and fade and tear, and then what? It's gonna look cool and sick. I'll add more. Tamarack had an answer to every question, even if it was the wrong answer. Honestly, I think fading, like stickers that have faded, can look more cooler, you know? But then, Chew closed his mouth. He must have thought the same thing you just did. Never mind. Neither of your rides are any good. Yeah, if Tamarack wants to mess up her thing with stickers, no one can stop her. Let me see. It's like, I think Tamarack's is better than yours. Alright. We're going Chew's route, but just roasting his bike, honestly, that'd be funny. I want something like yours, Tamarack. Thank you. I just want to see if we can get a reaction out of Chew. Anyway. Hello? Why game not responding? Alright. So yeah, your bike is cool, Chew, just like you said. Yeah, she okay. I should probably, you know, say something good about both of their bikes. Yeah, Tamarack wants to mess up her thing with stickers. No one can stop her. She huffed, as you thought no one was gonna convince her. It's not messed up. I need to actually make a right choice, or a choice I want to make. Both have such great rides. Thank you. Tamarack cheered. All that was missing was a horn she could have honked to punctuate her excitement. It would have fit perfect. But that was more of a bike thing. You get it? My bike is the best. Chew's words came out extra eager. He'd been waiting for some praise to come. That was when your attention went to what you thought. Tamarack and Chew silently scrutinized your bike. Chew scrutinized it like he was a professional bike judge or something. It's in really good shape. I like it, Snow. It's gonna be really fun to ride together. And it's great to know I still have the best bike on the whole block. His words were general praise, despite him not being able to give them without a little teasing. I don't know how you're supposed to write something like that. Tamarack, though, was 100% impressed. Then Chew refocused on being in charge of this trip. Okay, no messing around. Let's suit up. The trio of the cul-de-sac kids strapped on helmets. Ah, there's some art of it. Chew has like I mixed the words black and white together. I said blight. Yeah, he has a blight helmet. He has a blight helmet. That's what I meant. We're mixing the words to say blight. He has a blight helmet. I don't even know if that's an actual word, or maybe I shouldn't say it. Who knows? And then like an Easter egg helmet. When Chew got his bulky helmet on, he gave the thing a smack on the side of his own head. He had to make sure it still worked, you guessed. Tamarack tugged tight on the chin straps, so it practically fused with her face. It would not be budging no matter what happened. You weren't thrilled about seeing Darren again. Let me see. Nerves were creeping up your arms. Would you even make it all the way to the park? Thought of seeing the park was extremely exciting. The tiny expedition put sneakers to the pedals, shoes to the pavement, and you were on your way. Your neighborhood was behind you in the matter of seconds. The whole wide world was in front of you. With your wheels under you, you were free to go anywhere. Riding into town on the bumpy road, up and down, side to side, made you think of 3 leaves being swept along the flow of the river. Everyone giggled and oohed each time you tip over the hump of a hill. When gravity took over, Tamarack leaned to the side and stuck her chest past the scooter's bar to get the full blast of wind. Chew kicked his legs up and let the pedals spin completely out of control. You lowered yourself to catch some extra speed. You flew by the mix of houses and trees until there was no more forest or homes. What surrounded you were rows of business buildings. The massive arc declaring this place as Golden Grove acted as the finish line of that leg of the journey. Everybody dismounted but left their helmets on. This wouldn't take long, according to Chew. Even so, he announced it be best to wait somewhere else. The 3 of you moved to get out of the street. Bikes and scooters and things like that could take someone far, but cars were the challenging rulers of the road. It took your feet a second to feel normal walking around on solid ground again. They were still tingling from the vibration of the ride there. But everyone safely got themselves and their wheels onto the sidewalk. You'd officially arrived at the first milestone. The treasure chest shop was right down the sidewalk on the corner. You'd remember stocking up for supplies, rock, paper, scissors, and the trip to the special place in the forest, but you had other destinations ahead that day. You remained huddled near the front of the barber shop, waiting. Anytime some random person came by, it was a challenge to let them pass. Your eyes took up a whole lots of space. But you had been right. Soon you heard the clickety-zip bike wheels coming closer, zooming down a side street where the missing members of Chew's Boy Club. Baxter's bike was a blinding bright white on the body. The chains, wheels, and other mechanical stuff were black. Was that Baxter, right? Yeah, Baxter. He casually leaned so that one arm he used to hold on the bike could stretch out fully. Darren's ride was an electric blue with orangey, yellowy reflectors strapped on the front and back. He lifted himself off the seat and stretched over the handlebars. The 2 had swapped their normal headgear with helmets. The older boys looked kind of different in their own ways, too. Baxter had always worn a sweater whenever you'd seen him. He chose to go without it for the bike ride. You weren't sure why. For Darren, it took a bit longer to realize what had changed. But he got it. He had taken off those fuzzy black gloves. You could imagine why Darren would do that. Chew whooped seeing them. He tried waving it closer, but keeping his bike steady didn't make it easy. The big thing did help make him easy to spot, though. Darren and Baxter came to a screeching stop in front of you before going over a curb and knocking your group over like bowling pins. Yeah, he does not have his coat. Hey, hello. The whole set of them were decked out in smiles. Well, Darren be like, oh god, not Tamarack again. After your first time together at the bridge, it became a lot easier for the older boy to be around the Jew neighbors. Baxter's attitude in particular had shifted. He wasn't even smirking. Hello. Tamarack's reaction was beyond just being curious or bored. Like how she greeted any stranger who happened to cross her path. She did know those boys. It was nice. The way you could get to know someone, the way things could change by day. The tallest of the boys started to chat with his buddies. The helmet is pretty cool. Darren nudged his Darren nudged his uncharacteristically ungloved hand at Tamarack's direction. Do you think my mom would get me one? Oh yeah, it's awesome, and no way. She'd never let you go out looking like such a rebel. Yeah, it won't happen. Not fair. Sorry, but Snows is good too. The three of them gabbed out helmets and bikes among them. Meanwhile, Tamarack ran her finger along the sides of her spiky helmet and grinned. Darren might not have said it to the girl herself, but she said it about her. That was something. Yeah. Complimenting Tamarack? That does not seem like a Darren thing to do. But anyway. Baxter didn't even have to pretend to be Darren to give the compliment. At some point, the conversation became about the actual rides rather than the safety gear. Tamarack doesn't have a bike. How's she gonna keep up? Legs? Faster than you? She's faster than you, Darren. Even on a bike, she's faster than you, Darren. No one likes you, Darren. Everyone hates you, Darren. No one... Tamarack squinted her eyes, insulted by such questioning. Hey, scooters are just as good as bikes. I forgot to do my voice for her. One. Hey, scooters are just as good as bikes. I don't know why I'm doing such a weird Swedish accent for her. I don't know why, I've just been doing that this whole fucking time, but that's just what I've been doing. Darren couldn't meet her dark red gaze. He could only mumble out of one corner of his mouth. Not for going fast. For Tamarack could agree again, only for Darren to say something else she didn't like. Chew laughed. Wow, Darren, it's so nice to you make sure no one's left behind, but you know. Chew slowly smiled while gradually getting higher on his toes until he was nearly eye level with Darren. I could ask that same question every time I ride with anyone else. 'Cause no one is as fast as me. Chew cut his hand through the air like it was striking down an invisible field of opponents. Then he jabbed a hooked finger into Darren's chest. Maybe the challenge wasn't pretend after all. But I don't ask it, and I have fun anyway. And so do any other people. So do other people, alright? It's gonna be good. I need to read that again. But I don't ask it, and I have fun anyway. And so do other people, alright? It's gonna be good. This time, Darren whispered from the opposite side of his lips. Alright. Fine with me, too. She doesn't need to use a bike. Okay, good. Tamarack said while letting Darren out from under her gaze. Instead of him, Tamarack focused on the road. April. fixing the dog up. Yeah. She's very sleepy and alone. Yeah. You alone. Wait. Okay. And after spending the entire time giving his words and attention to Chew, Baxter spoke directly to you and Tamarack. We're not gonna stop again before we reach the park. Yeah, we're not sticking around this place. The proud scooter girl squeezed her squishy handles until the plastic morphed around her fingers. You are setting out once again. Chew led the way past Main Street and down multiple other streets you didn't know the names of. Sorry, there's a dog at my door. The boys' club took every sudden turn and bent easily, as they could go in a circle, though they never left Tamarack behind. Yeah. Apples, you really need to learn personal space. You know that, right? You sniff people's faces, but the other dogs don't like it. You know that, right? Aww. Pebbles always invades people's personal spaces, and then get surprised why they get mad. Like the other dogs. Anyway, the boys' club took every. Oh yeah, I read that. In fact, Tamarack stayed as close to them as possible, forcing blind determination to match their knowledge of what exactly they were doing. And eventually, sky opened up in front of you. The buildings that had been blocked out were pushed aside to make room for a forest living directly inside of Golden Grove. If Main Street was the heart of the town, this was the soul. You shot straight through the entrance. The path was wide enough for the 5 rides to spread out from the cluster to the row. Orange, red, and yellow leaves covered the ground. They scattered in a whirlwind from the wheels that rushed over them like a cloud of monarch butterflies had taken to the skies. The wind whipping past your ears carried a shout of exhilaration from Chew. Tamarack's scooter vibrated going over whatever the roads were made of. It was buzzing. Fun. It was fun. Free from the obstacles of cars and tight sidewalks, the boys' club pulled further and further ahead of Tamarack. April! Oh my god, is she what I have to deal with daily? April! Stop it! Stop it. No. No one's here. No one's here. Why are you barking? Why are you barking? Stop it. Can you stop barking? Why are you looking outside? There's no one there. There's no one outside, April. If you bark, I'm gonna kick you out of this room. I hope you know that. Will you stop barking? April. April. April, look at me. April. April. gonna try and do this without April barking, right? You want to stay in here, right? Okay. I love you. Free from the obstacle of cars and tight sidewalks, the boys' club pulled further and further ahead of Tamarack. Her scooter, with a single leg pushing it along, just couldn't match the speed of the double pedal bikes. Just do this. Before Tamarack was actually left behind, she called out again. Brake! One after the other, Chew, Darren, and Baxter slammed their brakes, coming to dramatic stops. It was exactly what the other two boys had done when they first showed up. Tamarack jumped right off her scooter. She clutched the handles and ran alongside it until she got in her steed to halt. We're here is the park. You were the last to stop it moving. Doing it the most least. You're the last one to stop, doing it the most slowly and carefully. Everyone climbed off their stuff. Everyone who didn't already do it was, and then regrouped in an almost circle. Chew's boys were at his sides, and they faced you and Tamarack. The club leader kept his bike upright with one arm and had the other free so it could move all around as he spoke. This is it. Welcome to the Golden Grove Park. And that's the name. It isn't anything else. There aren't even other parks around, so... Chew flicked a hand casually. You get the point, is what he was signaling without words. It's beautiful. I like it. But the normal forest is still best. But the special thing is the most special. Tamarack added the last part decisively. There could not be any misunderstandings happening about her ranks of good stuff. That's not bad. I knew Golden Grove would have something you both like. Chew grasped his bike with both hands, raring to go again after only a few seconds. Aww. You'll like it even better once you see more. Goodness. My hair. There's a couple of paths going around here. One of them is this big loop through the entire park. We could ride down that way. It doesn't take long. And we pass by a cool gazebo at the other end. What are we gonna do after that? We'll see what happens when we get there. That half plan got a mixed reaction. Where are you going, April? Where you go? Oh. The half plan got a mixed reaction. Alright. Baxter smirked unaffectedly, which he would have done no matter what, you were sure. And Darren went back to his old way of being sour. Chew gave his friend a side-eye and crooked smile. Again, he didn't need to talk to say what he expressed it. Come on, Darren, what's going on? It was the general message. Darren sucked in a breath while his chin sunk lower as if the helmet was crushing his head. We came all the way to the park We should race like we always do. His voice cracked like it always did when he felt a lot of emotions. It must have been a tradition important to the club, or at least one member of it. Sorry, Darren, we can't this time. Why not? Why? Chew tripped on Tamarack's question. To him, she of everyone should get why. Oh. Competition. Cause how are you gonna race on a scooter? Oh, I don't want to race. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to. We're not racing today. You can race without me. What am I doing with? Why am I? You can race. I can't do the voice. I can't do the voice. What was my voice? Hold on. Let me go to a VOD. Let me go to a VOD and see what my voice was. If I throw these cashews from up here, do you think you can catch? If I throw these, you can race without me. Hold on, let me see. If I throw these cashews from up here, do you think they could catch them? Is that it? If I throw these cashews from up here, do you think you could catch them? It's just nuts. You can throw them too. You can race without me. I don't mind. Is that the voice? Hold on, let me get back my camera. What? You want us to do something that'll leave you out? You know, Tamarack sometimes went off by herself. The idea of not getting part of the main event was horrifying to Chew than covering his beloved Spike and stickers. Make sure my camera is doing well. Ah! Everything's fine. Yeah, you boys club can do your boys club stuff. There we go, my voice is back. Chew opened his mouth, poised to disagree with the suggestion that he'd go off without her, with the implication that she wasn't part of the club. But Tamarack was more forceful with her thoughts than Chew. She kept going. You don't have to do what me and Snow do all the time. You wanted us to see the park, and we did. And we went to a special place together. We're still friends if we don't play together the whole day at the park. Darren was open-mouthed, stunned at Tamarack disagreeing but bluntly with Chew. It still couldn't match how befuddled Chew was. I agree with Tamarack of, you know, we don't always have to do everything together. Together. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me. Alright. Huh. I want to race. She said nothing, though a hint of a smile did return to his face. I didn't know what to say there, but Darren's confidence grew. His chin wasn't high anymore. He lifted it. Tamarack continued the fight for a race. It was a tag team effort, and her turn had come around again. Wait, I'm remembering something from Our Life Begins and Always. There was a race, right? A race thing with Cove. We're doing a race again. Anyway, I haven't played. I don't remember everything from Our Life Begins and Always. It's been years. Where I should play it? We should play it. I like on a stream and revisit it. I cheer really loudly when you go by, so you won't forget I'm here. Then, to the surprise of everyone, one more speaker tossed in their 2 cents, the most mature in a fake accent. It's a good idea. I'm not a racer. Whatever we do, whenever we do this, it's between you and Darren anyway. I'd rather watch. Chu hadn't known about his friend, and it was a convincing point. Maybe Baxter's word counted as more than a couple pennies since he was rich. This had all sent Chu for a spin. A bike wheel going out of control. But he planted his feet onto the pedals again. Alright, the club members and the not yet club person have voted. We're gonna split up. Anyone who wants to race is with me, and everybody else can do whatever they want. But, he paused the moment he'd been building up himself with a lift of the finger. Then Shu peeked at the group through a single eye. Let's go around the park together before we leave, okay? Okay. Cool. I should do my voice, but maybe not today. Tamarack grinned victoriously. Chu turned it into a compromise at the very end, but Tamarack considered it a win for her side. Darren managed a tiny smile over it too. I'll still race with you and Darren. Okay. The deal was done. The 3-way race was happening. I would say this. As a kid, I was okay with it. Chu gave you an eager thumbs up. If he didn't have to hold his bike, it probably would have been 2. Then Chu had laid out how things were going to work, listing off points with a count of his fingers. He'd follow the side path to the end, go around the gazebo, and take the same route back to the start. It wouldn't be the full loop around the edge of the park, just a shorter route that cut through the center. That was the reminder to stay away from each other, the grass, and the pedestrians. Though Chu needed 2 tries to properly say that word out loud. Try not to crash into things was the idea. The race would begin on the word go. Get it? Get it. Sure. It was too tempting not to break the chain. Speaking in a stiff official manner, Chu addressed the 2 non-racers. Baxter and Tamarack, would you do the honors of counting down? Yes, I will. She can do it. Good luck. Tamarack was more pumped about the job than he was. He could let her have it. Good. Cool. Chu slapped the side of his helmet again and declared it was time. To your starting positions. Yeah, I'm so ready. The competitive spirit possessed Darren for a second, and he cheered wholeheartedly. But it's left soon. Darren was a little embarrassed by the declaration. The competitors lined up side by side. Each one climbed onto their bike. Tamarack stood close and slid her scarf from behind her neck. From her neck, gripping it tight. 1, 2, 3. The moment of pure silence, even Tamarack could show some patience if it was for dramatic effect. Go! She flung the cloth into the air like a flag. The race began with a whir of spinning wheels and scattering of autumn leaves. The three of you were off in a blink. The perfect row you'd started in held steady at first anyway. You inched ahead of the other two. You glanced at the followers out of the corner of your eyes. He wasn't messing around. Chu did the bike equivalent of putting the pedal to the metal, slamming the weight into the force, forcing the bike forward. It closed the gap. The race wasn't decided just yet. Be careful you don't drop anything, Chu. Be careful not to get my dust in your eyes. You and Chu messed around, having teasing race banter. Darren kept it out of it completely. He wasn't wasting any breath. The end of the path approached rapidly. This was not an endurance test. It was about burst of pure speed. Cold wind whipped around across your skin. Hot blood pumped through your body. It was exhilarating. Your mommy liked that word. And this had to be the feeling she was trying to explain. The turn around the gazebo split the racers apart more clearly. First you, then Chu, then lastly Darren. At that point, Darren fell behind. The older boy couldn't come back from it. This was between you and Chu. He glanced across the road, rushing underneath the both of you, grinning boldly. Chu wasn't slowing down. He was speeding up. I am not. Ooh, I guess you could get like maybe multiple kinds of moments. Let me turn down the music a bit. There we go. Alright then. You pushed hard, using every bit of strength in your legs. I'm not letting him win. You and Chu, then Darren, reached the point in the path where Tamarack and Baxter chose to hang out. They're coming! Over the roar of the wind, Tamarack's cheers could still be heard. She flailed the extra long ends of her sweater sleeves. Tamarack kept her promise. Nobody could forget she was still there. Go Snow, go Chu! Baxter gave the respectful round of applause to each of the riders as they blew past, no matter what place they were in. Then those two were gone. Your legs burned. Your sweaty fingers shook from clasping too tight for too long. For the last yards of the race, it was like the two of you were the only people in the park. No, in the entire world. Each time you thought you had the lead, Chu would close in again, and any time he tried to break away, you refused to let him. Neither competitor would give in, but in a flash it was over. Stopped on the dime at the entrance of the park. Chu slammed on his brakes right behind you. For the first time since this began, everything had stilled. Then Chu stamped the sole of his left sneaker to the ground and tore his heavy helmet from his head, as if getting off the bike was the fastest. The fastest was suddenly the new race. His head snapped towards you, but Chu was speechless. It was only little by little. 1 inch was, or two, probably 2, but you had 1. I did it. In your face. I did it? Wow. He burst with an enthusiasm you never expected. Never reminded you more of Tamarack than Chu. He was thrilled about not being first. Chu outright beamed at you. It was as if getting second for once was still a victory for him in some sideways perspective. I'll win next time. definitely. So maybe it wasn't losing that made him happy. Chu liked having some real competition in town. Oh. The same went for you. It was pretty cool to find someone who was almost your match. Darren coasted up from behind you and Chu. His legs were kicked in the air, not bothering to pedal. His face was twisting in confusion. Snow won? He did. Chu proclaimed it boldly, without hesitation, but for Darren, that was a hard fact to swallow. Not only did he still lose to Chu, the new kid on the block was even faster than that. Chu cracked a small smirk, dropping his feet to the concrete. I really lost. We could do it again sometime. Yeah. Practice. I love that. I was like, I'm not letting Chu win. I don't care. You showed your medal, whatever it was, on the field of competition, and you earned your respect of your rival. Definitely, that was the most fun race in years. I don't know if it was the most fun race. Most fun race. What was that? Oh, it's that. Okay. What the fuck? Alright. He mumbled into the collar of his vest. It didn't seem low enough to hide the corner of his mouth perking up. It was a joke. Darren was trying to make a joke. That was different. And so was him talking directly to you. Not about you towards Chu or Baxter. It was pretty cool. You're really good on a bike. Let's see. Thanks saying that, Darren. You weren't bad either. See, okay, no. Okay, thanks for saying that, Darren. Darren clammed up. That was enough conversation for him, at least with you. Chu dropped in like a lifeline, rescuing you and Darren from an awkward silence. The words weren't empty filler, though. His enthusiasm was real. You said it, Darren. There's no challenge too tough for you, is there, Snow? It makes sense that you beat me. Spending the afternoon together, having a race against him, made you think. And thinking about him made it harder to breathe than any race. She was so different from other kids in the best ways. Oh. Tamarack bounded over. She left her scooter in the grass and was entirely unrestrained. Baxter leisurely followed behind. His hands were in his pockets, his bike propped against a bench. It looked like a cute poodle got off her leash, and the fancy owner didn't care if she jumped on the visitors. That was amazing. You're amazing, Snow. She would have said that no matter what, and you were positive. Tamarack was nice after all. Didn't end in disaster. Chu innocently hooked an arm around Darren. Of course it didn't. What did you expect? Oh. With its rider's attention elsewhere, Chu's bike slowly began to lean. Baxter pointed a finger at it. Chu leapt to stop it from falling over completely. The panic transferred from Chu directly to Darren. He instinctively reached past Chu to try grabbing the precarious vehicle too. But that's just cause his own bike to start slipping. That just caused his whatever. You know what I'm saying. Sorry. Let me read that again. But that just caused his own bike to start slipping. The two broke apart to hug the rescue. The two broke apart the hug to rescue their bikes in the nick of time. Chu and Darren sighed in relief while Baxter chuckled fondly at their friends. Something like that was probably about what he had expected. It was time to fulfill your second promise of the day. to go for a ride all together. The group decided to make a full loop around the park. You were tired but needed to ride with someone else. Perfect chance. Let's see this. Maybe. Snow, Darren, this is a victory lap for the three of us. We completed, and that's something to be proud of, no matter what place you got. Yeah. Tamarack and Baxter made eye contact with each other. Chew was one thing, but Darren, agreeing with such a friendly take on it, they could only imagine what they had missed. Oh. I wonder, is Darren gonna be like another like choice, like a romantic choice in this game? I wonder. Like in the future, maybe like step 3 or whatever, whenever you get to choose. I wonder. That'd be interesting to see. Got to ride on Tamarack's scooter. You convinced Darren to let you go around on his bike with him. You were on Chew's bike with him. Or doing the Chew ramp. Tamarack simply coasted on her scooter, not fighting to be at the front for a change. You held on to Chew, letting yourself be carried ahead. Chew kept it steady with his back straight and both hands on the handles. It was nothing like how he rode on his own. Baxter couldn't help but notice such properness. What a dedicated chauffeur. I don't know what a chauffeur is, millionaire man. Then how do you know it's a rich person thing? The millionaire man calmly quipped. It's a funny sounding word you used. What else could it be? Yeah. Tamarack tee-heed, Chew laughed, Baxter chuckled, Darren snickered, and you giggled. My God. A lot of verbs happening. It was another long day with the club, plus Tamarack, who didn't want to officially be a member. Despite her standpoint on that, the five of you had gone through a lot for the short time you'd lived there. You made it to the special place, and you went to the park. You got first place in a race, and you rained cashews down on the trio of boys. Tamarack and Chew were your friends. You hope Darren and Baxter liked you. They're amazing. It was amazing that you found so many friends. The mood had gone so different from the craziness of your first experience there. Chew didn't try to make people have fun. They already were. Tamarack wasn't eager to do something new, because she wasn't bored of this. Darren couldn't think of a point to complain about. And Baxter didn't make a fresh joke this time. People were satisfied and a little sleepy. If it wasn't chilly, maybe some of them would have nodded off, even though they were in the middle of riding their wheels. Front and back and all around, there was somebody you recognized, somebody happy to be there. It was amazing you'd found that many people you liked so much. Round and round, the whole set went through the Golden Grove Park for as long as your parents had allowed it. That was the end of that moment. Let me save that for real quick. And then continue fancy fun. I'm guessing this is Baxter inviting us to his mansion or whatever. Let's see. We take a little break? Maybe. Let's take a little break. I'll be right back. Hello. I am back. Let me do something real quick. 1, 18. There we go. We're gonna continue this with fancy fun. Begin moment, yes. Fancy fun. Hey. It does look like a ballet room, so I don't know if it's Baxter or anything like that. Tap, tap, tap. The raindrops kept coming down. It's been drizzling the entire day. Mommy had stayed late in the morning to drive you to school so you wouldn't have to ride through it. She told you then that by the time her work was finally over and she'd been able to come get you, the rain should be clearing up. Until then, the clouds would stay and your mommy would be gone, school would end, and the Lynns would be looking after you. Oh! Okay. Granny was always the first to volunteer to keep an eye on you. She loved being included in your life. And Tamarack's grandma had no job or clubs or classes. As far as you knew anyway, socializing with townspeople was her whole day. Mr. and Mrs. Lynn were busier people normally. But that afternoon, Granny had some kind of important errand, and it included Tamarack. Too. Both of them were out of their neighborhood. Meanwhile, Mr. Bauman would be doing stuff a retired person. Let me say this in her voice. No, this is the Mr. Bauman. Okay, I thought this was Tamarack. No. While Mr. Bauman was away doing stuff a retired person wasn't supposed to be doing. Maybe that's Tamarack saying that wasn't a retired person wasn't supposed to be doing. That was how Mommy has. Oh, that's Mommy. Okay. Though you were sure she was just quoting Granny's phrasing. Even if Tamarack's grandfather didn't have his own meetings, you couldn't imagine him being a babysitter without his wife or granddaughters around to help. You'd have to be more of an elder sitter than him taking care of you. So, that meant it was Chu's family who'd make sure you were safe and sound until your mommy could come home. It didn't mean they weren't still as swamped as ever. Mr. Lynn had client calls. Mrs. Lynn had chores, and Chu had ballet class. No. You never had a lesson at a dance hall. Ooh, he decided to go with Chu to his class. If that's what it took to hang out with your friend, you'd do it. You stood in one corner in the massive open space. Like pretty much everywhere in Golden Grove, the dance hall felt odd. Though not in a way that was worn down, the wooden floor had such a shine it was almost I can't speak. Though not in a way that was worn down, the wooden floor had such a shine it was almost as good as the real mirrors that covered a full wall. But it seemed like the type of room you'd find in a Victorian mansion, with its gold chandelier and patterned ceiling. Little by little, kids around your age filed into the room before practice began. No matter how many came, it never got crowded. The high walls and long stretching boards kept the students as only a small part of this grand hall. Tamarack! Ah, his different hair, tied up hair. Chu had stuck close by since you'd arrived. You could easily feel alone if the person you knew was just on the other side of the room. He had a leotard on, don't even know what that is, and Mrs. Lin had put his hair into a bun before she left. Chu made sure to bring his jacket. He wasn't allowed to wear it during class. It was on a coat rack for later. You'd never seen Chu look less like Chu, though his expression was familiar. Yeah, this does not look like Chu. This does not look like him. It looks so weird in not his usual outfit. Chu kept grinning at you, bouncing up and down on the balls of his feet. There was a lot he wanted to say, except he couldn't. He didn't have time. The lesson would begin any second. And it was right then the teacher announced everyone should go in the bar. Dozens of slipper-clad feet thumped against the wood. It sounded chaotic from the number of people and the way each footstep echoed in the closed-off space. But there was a method to the madness. Before your eyes, the frantic movement sorted itself. The dancers in neat tutus and legs found their assigned place on this secluded stage. Chu's spot was near the front of the line, or end, depending how you saw it. You were the only kid left in the back. Snow, you can sit on the floor and watch the class, or you could join our practice for today. It'd be fun, but you need to take it as seriously as everyone else. Oh, no matter what you do, they can't have a distraction. Thank you, teacher. I'll practice too. That's fine, but please switch your shoes for a pair of class slippers. There's a wicker basket near the coat rack with spare ballet shoes. While you found a pair that fit and put them on, an unexpected voice rang out. Can I stand near Snow? He's my guest, and I can help him show how it's done. Certainly, Snow. Go to the end of the line, and she will join you. Yay. His normal spot was at the front, after all. He left the front of the class to stand by you again. Just follow my lead. I'm left-handed, but I'll do everything on the right like the other people. Guess he was right. Fuck. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. Narrator, I hate you. I hate you so much. I hate you so much. I hope you die a slow, painful death at the end of your life. Whatever it is. Alright. Guess he was right about being able to help. I'm ending stream. Bye, I'll see you. Okay, no, we're not doing that. Alright. Chu snuck a low thumbs up before setting his hand on the bar. Lessons began with what the teacher called the ABCs of ballet. For something that was treated as the simplest, most baby-safe part of ballet, they used such fancy words for the moves. Plies, leve, battement, tendu, ronde jambe. I don't know if I'm pronouncing any of those right. Probably not. It's French. It's always pronounced weirdly. Probably this is blue. This is leve, leve, leve. This is and this is jump. Whatever. It's always pronounced weirdly. They hate pronouncing letters. They hate pronouncing letters most of the time. I'm making fun of the French. I'm making fun of the French. Anyway. You focus on a specific action at a time, repeating it before moving on to something else. When the position needed only one foot, you started with one side and did it all again on the other. Uh, it, uh, tried your best. How were legs supposed to do that? Even if you could see what it was supposed to be like, that did not mean it. You could make it happen yourself. You weren't the only one who found it to be challenging. Luckily, not everyone did, though. The group wasn't at equal skill levels. Some needed to keep two hands on the bar. Some only held on with one. How far they could bend. How high they could get on their toes. How much their knees shook. It varied with every person. They had a long way to go if they wanted their overall performance to be uniform. Practice continued step by step, and the ballet instructor hardly needed a giant mirror to see their reflection on the poise. Chu was right there. He flowed into each move with a confident grace as the teacher acted out for the sake of the younger, less experienced student. You couldn't call yourself a ballet expert. You hardly knew what proper ballet was supposed to look like, but you were sure Chu had some of the best balance there. His smile had never gone away, though it became as delicate as his motions. Chu was completely focused. At some point, the teacher stopped giving orders, and kids let go of the bar. The hushed excitement overtook the room. Something else was happening. Stay calm, students. But yes, it's time for practice for a recital. For the sake of the guest, the teacher took a bit of lesson time to explain how that winter the class would be performing the Nutcracker Ballet. Winter. We won't be seeing that, of course, because this is fall themed. The thing about my mustaches is unkept. Always looks like there's something in my teeth with my mustache. Anyway. You were still allowed to follow along as much as you wanted or were able to, but the students wouldn't be along through the identical steps anymore. Each kid had their own part to play. As an example, it was pointed out that the person you'd come to ballet had the role of the Nutcracker Prince. Of course he has a fucking special role. Of course Mr. Chulin was the Nutcracker Prince. He danced through any hoops to be the star of the show. Everyone resumed their positions from where events had been left off in the last class. It was when the noble Nutcracker Prince and evil Mouse King would clash over Clara, the leading lady. Chu and a boy you hadn't known got to take prop swords out of the supply box. They strutted towards the center of the floor. Right. Before the two could wail on each other with wood sticks, there was a refresher. The instructor became Prince, King, and Lady, having the students in each role follow along with her guidance. The three young dancers showed off their form, and how it was the strongest of the class. Nobody could question why they stood out from the crowd. But it was time to put the routine together as a single piece. It was time for the leads to truly perform. And that's when the problems showed themselves. The events got off to an alright start, sure, but the longer the show drew on, the shakier Chu's portrayal of the hero became. He forgot where to stand, did moves out of order, until he stalled because he didn't know what came next. Everything that could have been a problem was a problem. Every time Chu hit a block, he glanced towards the teacher with a wondering look. He wanted hint or maybe permission to stop this disaster, When it got whispered encouragement to simply keep going no matter what happened, they'd finish the scene. Oh no, just uh uh from the silence you tried giving your own clues. The teacher softly requested that you stop. Gave a grin. Okay. And being okay, it meant things would be fine if he kept tripping up, which he did a lot. Chu did smile at your gesture, though. The performance crawled on until the death of the dance was officially called. And scene. You did it, everyone. Great work completing their entire set. But you remember what I said about learning the steps. I won't be there to direct during the real show, and there won't be the option to pause or try again either. Hey, you learned stuff by practicing. That's what I'm doing right now, right this second. What else can I do? Get ballet steps magically beamed in my brain? The dance instructor was good at keeping students focused and orderly, but that broke their concentration. Laughter filled the hall. True, that is what we're here for, but the recital is a couple months away, so keep working on it. Yes, teacher, I'm working on it. Chu said simply with a shrug of his fake sword. Recital practice took up most of the remaining class time, though there was a brief cool-down session right at the end. After that, bows and courtesies were given to the teacher while the pupils were praised for their bright and beautiful performances. You got acknowledgement too. The teacher appraised your presence, appreciated your presence, and hoped you enjoyed the lesson. You'd enjoyed it. As the rest of the class left, Chu grabbed his jacket off the rack and threw it over the black leotard. He didn't put it on to go outside. He went as little time as possible without wearing that no matter what. Instead, Chu came over to where you were waiting for mommy to pick you up. Oh, is that like... I thought the thing that they had was this place's property. That's what I thought. Maybe I just didn't read it right. It was his own. No, was it his own? I don't remember. Hey, you survived class. That's not bad. Ballet isn't easy. If you joined for real, you could be in a show, or you could skip it if you wanted. Putting on a phony, humble attitude, Chu omitted some new details on his ballet career. It might be hard to believe, but this is gonna be my first real recital ever. The dances I did when I was probably 5 or something don't count. I've never gone on stage before. This is my debut. And it's dancing as the main thing. I'm the Nutcracker and the Nutcracker. The whole thing is named after me. There was no attempt to downplay the achievement then. Chu boasted plainly. I know you are. You snapped. No, we're not gonna be a dick. I always think of what would happen if you're a dick in like visual novels, but this is like our life. There's no interesting ending or anything like that, as I know, as I remember. For being a dick, you never get rewarded for it. I don't think so, at least. Congratulations, Chu. Good for you. No, it's easy to believe you've never had a real role. You teased. Oh god, that's so dicky. Even if it is teasing. The teacher should have picked someone else. Ah, the dick. The horrible mean stuff. I know you are. You can't even do the scene right. Are you sure that's a good idea? Just give it. Congratulations, Chu. Yeah. Pretending to be nonchalant again, Chu turned his face from you and propped on his toes. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it, but they begged me to. Oh. Chu pressed his hands, clutched into fists to his chest, expressing the apparent desperation of other people to have him as the nutcracker. You'd be the best in the class, they said. After such a dramatic declaration, he moved an arm to shyly rub the back of his head instead. Well, I'm the best boy in class, that's what they said. The words kept coming, though in a uncharacteristically mumbly way. There's a lot of boys in the class. There's not a lot of boys in the class, and a lot of them don't take it seriously. I didn't even have to audition when to be the prince. The teacher just gave it to me. I'm not good at doing the long dance routines. Someone like Baxter would have gotten the role for sure if he was in the class. But Baxter doesn't do ballet, and he's in the higher age group anyway. So if it wasn't me, who else could do it? Chu grabbed his jacket closer, seeming small on the accessory that normally fit him perfectly. When Chu was being his ballet self, it didn't hang the same way. The role had been placed on him, and Chu cared about getting the performance right, whether the steps made sense to him or not. That let you see things in Chu you never really saw. Stress, uncertainty, discomfort. It made you sad. Oh, good luck, Chu. Thanks. But forget this. I'm a million times better than when I was when I first started. Listen. We've been doing the bear, and everyone would stick out their right leg for something. Except me. I have my left hanging out there. Then the class would be twirling around at the same time in the same direction, besides me, left again. Chu himself was the joke that got Chu laughing. And he still wanted you to join in with it. The same way it happened with the other kids during recital practice. At least I don't do that anymore, most of the time. That means I can keep getting better if I keep trying. And when the recital happens, it's gonna be perfect. Chu declared as the truth immediately changed the subject. As if he might spook reality into going the wrong way if the world had more time to react to those words. My mom isn't coming here right now. I'm gonna stay in the dance hall until like dinner so I can hang out with Baxter. He's got to do his whole own private ballroom practice with a personal tutor today. Rich kids, right? But that means you and me get the whole dance floor to ourselves until whenever your mom gets here. I'll help you practice. Chu quirked a grin and an eyebrows perked. You want to be the Rat King or the Mouse King? I don't know what it's called. I want to be Clara? But you're not a girl. He's like, what? It's like... There was more than a little surprise in his reaction. You might as well have said you'd take his role as the Nutcracker. For a second, he just looked at your face and thought. You held his gaze, and then... Chu stuck his hands on his hips, leaning forward. Alright, let's do it. Chu fetched the same sword out of the supply basket before returning to the dead center of the shining wood floor. Your Nutcracker faced the invisible looming threat ahead. He pointed directly at the empty air. Stand back, dear Clara. I will protect you from this fiend. You're not supposed to talk, Chu. Okay. I want to see, Save me. Oh, I know you will, my hero. His eyes had a dazzling sparkle. Chu pretended to be the Nutcracker, who is secretly a prince. Flapped his jacket out in the grand motion. It was an ideal substitute for a royal cap. Then he swung his plastic weapon forward. You followed along the steps of Clara as best as you knew them. The strike was a stunning stab, cutting through the imagined form of the evil king. You pressed a hand dramatically to your forehead at the horror was unfolding, and then Chu stepped right into the twist of the dance. This was the part Chu had the most confidence with, the very first motions. But there's some blush. Between long looks and desperate pleas for his safety, the prince went all out in his own role. It was moving, the way the two leads in the story refused to be parted despite the odds. Though with no one to properly relate to, Chu completely lost the plot not even halfway through, yet the scene continued without stopping. You were fine if Chu needed to stop, but he committed to the fight. He clashed against the mistakes and frustrations that threatened to defeat him. Even though the steps in the routine were wrong, you couldn't really believe he was Clara's beloved nutcracker who defend her, or not her in your case, to the ends of the earth. The hell was that noise? I don't think that's in the game. Fuck. The feet kept sliding from the frantic movement, and so did Chu. More than once, the adventure almost came to an early end by somebody nearing careening to the ground. This was supposed to be the ballet, Nutcracker Ballet, not the on ice version. But then, like some bad kind of magic, the world of cursed nutcrackers and mouse kings vanished before your eyes. Mommy was there. It was time to go. Had it silly stopped raining already? Surprisingly, Chu squeaked, embarrassed to be caught doing the show he had a role in. We guess we couldn't do this forever. His first instinct was to tuck the sword behind his back, out of sight, but as if this wasn't a good enough solution to be caught wielding a weapon, he dropped it completely. From what Mom could gather of the interrupted scene, it was something worth smiling about. Chu called across the room to her. "Hey, Miss Parker!" And more quietly to you, he said, "Bye, Snow. It was a great practice. I've got to be better now. Bye, Chu." Content you went to your mommy. In the seconds it took for you to cross the floor, Mommy had already managed to find and get into the conversation with the ballet teacher. Mommy had to thank the ballerina for letting you have a free lesson, and the instructor thanked Mommy for allowing you to spend the afternoon in the dance hall. It was pretty much Thanksgiving at this point, and this was the season for it anyway. The celebration of appreciation didn't last all day, though, and she turned to you. "Goodbye, you can visit again if you'd like." Outside was about as cold as it had ever been since you moved there. Which was a lot. Outside was about as cold as you'd ever seen since you moved there. Which was a lot, but it was a whole lot more damp now. Rain might have not been falling directly on your head, and you didn't have to have an umbrella to get home, but it was still all around. You could feel it, you could smell it, a powerful earthy scent. Puddles covered the sidewalk. Dodging them completely was impossible. You knew, you tried. But the both of you made it to the car, mostly dry. Your mommy started the short drive to their neighborhood. I also like the background with the clouds. Very, very like realistic clouds. When you finally returned home after a long day, Mommy turned on the lights and upped the heater. The old building was drafty, with 1,000 hidden cracks that could let cold creep in. You had to baby the furnace, according to Mommy. Then you filled Mommy in on everything that happened during the ballet class. Mommy had her own additions to the conversation. She chatted about her work. You were happy to let her talk and reacted to the different parts of her story. In the middle of Mommy telling a highly redacted story about her HR endeavors, her phone buzzed. Your mommy never had a ringer on. Vibration only was her only rule in life. Yeah, that's me. I hate, honestly, I hate, like, notification sounds. I hate that. I love vibration sounds. That's better, and I just hate the sound of regular notifications. She got the device out and read the caller ID, the corner of her mouth pulling up. Oh? Well, look at that. It's Mrs. Bauman. Granny? Does that mean the errand was over? Had Tamarack come back? Anticipation filled your stomach with fuzzies. Mommy motioned to bring the phone to her. Who? I can't speak. Mommy motioned to bring the phone to her ear. Before thinking better of it, she decided that for this call, you could be included. She answered by turning on the speaker. Hello, Dorothea. Snow is right here with me. How are you? Both of you braced your ears for a blaring old lady exclamation to go off in your living room any second. It never came. Instead, there was a just as powerful fake old lady squeal. Oh my god.
Oh me. I'm glad somebody asked how I am for a change. I go around checking to see how everyone is all the time. But when does someone take care of me? Never.
The definitely not Mrs. Bauman person on the other end couldn't keep up that act for any longer. She giggled gleefully. It was definitely Tamarack. Mommy had to press a few fingers to her lips to stop from joining in on the laughter. The joke was too much for Mrs. Bauman's expense for it to be kosher. Hi, if you're on me, then I'm Tamarack Bauman again. Now, you are funny, but you don't get to be Tamarack. I've got to be her. Okay. Tamarack breathed nosily through the phone speaker. It was an attempt to speak more calmly for the next part. I'm having a tea party right now. You're invited. The attempt hadn't worked. There's gonna be tea and snacks and our best china. I don't know why plates and stuff have the same name as a country, but that's what Omi calls them. Yeah, we have in music with drums, you have a thing called a china. Very good with metal music. Very, very good with metal music. But yeah, that's just called a china. I don't know why they're called chinas. I don't know. But china cymbals sound really good. They're my favorite kind of thing to do whenever I'm making like metal music. It's just, it's very splashy, you know. But it's not a splash. A splash is a different thing. Yes, there's a drum thing called like a splash or something. Whatever. Anyway, it was fine if she didn't know why it was called China in your eyes. The invitation to the tea party was more important. You glanced from the phone to Mommy, trying to work out her thoughts on the matter. You concluded they were positive. She moved her free hand over her chest and raised her left eyebrow. Fine china, huh? That sounds wonderful. Quick question. Is there a dress code for this proper occasion? Oh. Tamarack gasped at that thought. One more piece of the puzzle had snapped into place. The picture of an ideal tea party was coming together in the world behind her ruby eyes. Yeah, I can get my special German dress. Snow, you can wear something nice too, if you wanna. With the goal so close, Tamarack couldn't wait for you or anyone else to comment on the last-minute addition She barreled to the final matter of planning. Is Chu home? He should come too. He's not there. Chu stayed in the dance hall. Oh, then the whole party would be you and me. But that's okay. It's still gonna be great. The second noise bomb rattled in your brain. Wow, the last time Tamarack sounded that excited was when she got to see the special place. And that fantastical bridge in the middle of the woods and a secret final being revealed. Two things Tamarack was crazy about. This party had to be a pretty big deal. Mommy could see that too. Her thrill was so unmistakable. Chu might have been game-ish that he was missing out on something all the way across town. But despite Tamarack's energy pulsing into the whole world, the feeling was only for you only. Mommy discreetly placed your side on the call on mute. So, will you RSVP? What? I'm a kid. What does RSVP mean? Also, I don't even know what RSVP means. What's RSVP? I can break the bad news if you'd rather not, but I don't have a problem with you going over. She hovered her phone screen at your eye level in case you wanted to talk to Miss Tamarack directly. The choice was fully yours. I guess in the future we can save this. So why does it always go to the different tabs? I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. It always has a mind of its own. Let's see. You pretended to gag? That was the only answer. God, that's rude. It's like, you hung your head apologetically. You couldn't do anything. Your mommy pulled the phone towards her again, tapping the sound back on again. Her customer voice came on. I'm sorry, I think Snow is gonna stay here tonight, but thank you for thinking of him. Oh, I know. No, we're not doing that. No, we're going with Tamarack. I'm just thinking about saving this for Tamarack's route. That's why, but I feel so bad. I feel so bad. Oh God. We'll do that. We'll do this for later, but oh God, I feel bad. Okay, I can have a tea party by myself. Oh, yes you can. Don't let anyone stop you. Goodbye, Tamarack. Have a fantastic event. But thanks. Bye. Oh, bye. Oh, I feel so bad. Oh, this is for like saving content for later in the future. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. There we go. I deserve that. Oh, that one hurt. That one hurt bad. Ooh, that one hurt again. That one hurt worse. I'm doing that for myself and for the people who like Tamarack. There we go. I'm making sure the people who like Tamarack are happy about me getting hurt. About me getting hurt. The call ended. I'm thinking about what more pain I could put myself through for the people who like Tamarack, because I feel so fucking bad about that. But before you knew it, the day was over too. No one else called or came over. It was an evening spent doing normal stuff at home. You had to go to bed. Not much of a party, but that was exactly what you wanted. Okay, we finished choose stuff. But we will this is the end of step 1 for this. What is step 2 preview? Okay. Well, that is step 1 of choose a path. So, maybe we'll do step 1 for Tamarack's soon. What are you doing? What are you doing, Pebbles? Pebbles? Alright. Well, that's straight. But I hope you like this. We'll do Tamarack's later, and I'll see you later.